India and the United States and the relations we share. US President Donald Trump has announced a trade deal with China. Trump has also hinted at a major upcoming deal with India, aiming to strengthen US global trade ties. Now, he's asserted at a very big trade deal with India. This, in fact, comes weeks after a team of negotiators from the two countries held a 4-day closed-door talks on the agreement. Trump, in his address, elaborated that the United States would open up India for trade like it has already started opening China. Trump also stressed that these things that never really could have happened and the relationship with every country has been very good. Meanwhile, an Indian team is in Washington for the next round of trade talks with their US counterparts. The high tariffs announced by the United States on April 2nd were suspended by the Trump administration till July 9th. Now, with that, let's first take a look at what exactly did the president have to say on the matter.
We just signed with China yesterday, right? Just signed with China. We have everybody. We're not going to make deals with everybody. Some we're just going to send them a letter, say, thank you very much. You're going to pay 25, 35, 45%. That's the easy way to do it. And my people don't want to do it that way. They want to do some of it, but they want to make more deals than I would do. But we're having some great deals. We have one coming up, maybe with India, very big one, where we're going to open up India. In the China deal, we're starting to open up China, things that never really could have happened. And the relationship with every country has been very good.
Now, let me bring in Bill Drexel, geopolitics expert, Hudson Institute. He's joining us from Washington. Bill, I would say good morning, but it is quite late there at Washington at this point. So welcome. Thank you for speaking to us at India Today. You know, my first question would be, before getting into the discussion of what might come up next, the very big deal that he's spoken of, let's quickly take a review, a report card of sorts, of where the current trade deal stands between India and the United States. We'd seen the tariff chart that he had released back when he had just resumed office a few months back, and then that got suspended till July 9th. So that date is also nearing at this given point. Right now, the trade deal stands at, if I'm not wrong, 27% tariffs, reciprocal tariffs with India.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's right. This has been obviously one of the biggest pushes of the Trump administration so far, and India and China both represent two of the most important trading partners that I'm sure the Trump administration is very keen to kind of register some serious progress before that deadline coming up very quickly, as you noted.
Absolutely. So, Bill, now if we get into what all has happened since the very tariff charts were brought in for the entire world, you know, there was a lot of panic as well amongst all nations that, in fact, were on the receiving end of it with regards to how the ramifications or the repercussions of those tariffs might be on the economic, on the trade relations at a global level at this given point. But if we speak of India and US specifically at this point, you know, when Prime Minister Modi met Donald Trump as well, they had spoken about important deals being in the work. So yes, closed-door negotiations have been continuing. And at this given point, with China's tariffs being brought down from 145% to a rough 55%, what are we expecting, or what may we anticipate for India, especially with this announcement?
Well, I think there are high hopes, but you know, I think we need to take it with a bit of caution. Trump, uh, this term certainly has been very uh, forward-leaning on announcing deals very quickly. So we saw recently he announced a ceasefire with Israel and Iran that may not have been premature, but at least was, you know, the situation on the ground was still rocky at the time that it was announced, and there was some hesitancy from both sides. Similarly, he spoke out about even India and Pakistan as well after the Operation Sindoor very quickly before, you know, out ahead of those governments. So uh, President Trump likes to project that things are moving, things are coming to a conclusion. That's good for the markets. It looks good. But ultimately, the proof is in the pudding. And we're already seeing with China that some of the, after the initial round of negotiations in Geneva, both sides accused the other of violating kind of the provisional agreement. And we're also already seeing that both sides are being relatively cautious in kind of positioning themselves for a deal to start. So uh, America has said it won't kind of reduce its countermeasures against China until critical minerals start flowing. Meanwhile, the United States has told uh, ethane producers that they can pack up and ship to China, but they can't unload it till they get the word. So there's still a lot of kind of incremental baby steps to real agreements solidifying with China, and that, at least from Trump's recent statement, seems to be preceding India. So I think there's still, some I's to dot and T's to cross, as we say. But I think, the indicators at least are positive.
Absolutely. And when you speak of caution, let me circle back to a point you have made and you've picked up yourself, which is uh, what happened when Operation Sindoor was underway. Donald Trump had come out to say that he had already had a conversation with both India and Pakistan, speaking of trade deals. He'd even made mention of trade deals that he had struck with both countries, which in fact led to the very ceasefire. But then our country and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has come out to clarify that there was no such conversation at all. So when we speak of this very announcement coming in the backdrop of such a recent development and one that's been very, very closely watched by India, by the United States and the rest of the world, what would you make of this announcement in that context?
Well, I think President Trump likes to speak very directly. He's not a president that, wants all of his statements to go through four layers of checks by, a string of bureaucrats. He shoots from the hip, as we say, and he takes certain liberties with uh, promoting the agendas and the narratives that he is most interested in. So we need to account for that. And right now it's true. He made a huge gamble on this not on this tariff kind of move he made early in his administration. It caused a lot of market uncertainty. He has a lot of pressure to deliver on these deals, and also to show that they are happening. That this 90-day, kind of really accelerated timeline is still feasible or feasible enough to serve American interests. Uh, so caution is due. At the same time, I think both sides likely want a deal and want a good deal. So
Right.
there's reason to be hopeful. There's reason to be, uh, you know, circumspect.